Have you ever wondered how these massive companies, sometimes even fierce rivals, suddenly decide to team up? They join forces to tackle these enormous projects that, honestly, they just couldn't handle on their own. Well, today we're going to dive right into that world of high-stakes corporate partnerships, the joint venture.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. If we really want to get a handle on the power of these partnerships, we've got to be super clear on what a joint venture actually is. And maybe just as important, what it isn't. So this is really the big question, right? You see two corporate titans suddenly working together. How in the world does that actually work? How do they set up a deal to go after some huge new prize, like, say, the entire market of a country? Well, the answer is usually a joint venture, or JV for short. And it's pretty much what it says here, a formal deal where companies pool their resources to achieve a very specific goal. The key thing to remember is that everybody involved shares the risk, but they also share the potential rewards. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. A joint venture isn't just some friendly agreement to cooperate. In most cases, the partners literally create a brand new, totally separate company. It's almost like they have a business baby that has its own legal identity. And this slide lays out the difference perfectly. See, on the left, you've got the joint venture. It's formal, it's structured, it's a whole new business with shared ownership. But on the right, you have something called a strategic alliance. That's much more like a handshake deal. It's way less formal, a lot more flexible, and it's all about cooperating on a few things without actually building a new company from the ground up. All right, let's move on. Because think about it, creating a whole new company with a partner, that is a huge commitment. It can lead to some absolutely incredible rewards for sure, but it also comes packed with some very serious risks. It really is a double-edged sword. So why even bother, right? Well, the potential upsides are massive. A JV can be your golden ticket into a tough new market where you don't have any connections. It can help you develop some amazing new tech by combining R&D budgets. But the real magic, it happens when you perfectly combine each other's strengths, like pairing a global expert with a company that has deep local know-how. But of course, for every amazing reward, there's a risk. And this is where things can completely fall apart. You might have two company cultures that just don't mix, or different management styles that create constant friction. And then there's the big one, arguments over money. I mean, fighting over how to share profits can absolutely sink the entire ship if you don't have a rock-solid agreement from day one. Okay, so all this talk about risk and reward is great in theory, but let's check out a real-world example of a joint venture that absolutely crushed it. The partnership between Toyota and Astra International over in Indonesia. Their goal was simple, but wow, was it ambitious. They wanted to become the dominant force in Indonesia's huge and growing car market. This was a goal that, frankly, neither company could probably have pulled off on its own. And this right here is just a perfect example of synergy. I mean, look at what each company brought to the party. Toyota had its world-class car technology and a massive global brand. But Astra International? They had what Toyota desperately needed: deep, irreplaceable knowledge of the local market, a huge distribution network already set up, and the operational support to make everything run smoothly. It was truly a perfect match. So what was the result of combining these incredible complementary strengths? Well, their joint venture became an absolutely dominant market leader. It made Toyota one of the most recognized and successful car brands in all of Indonesia. A total win. Which brings us to our final section. We've seen the good, we've seen the bad. So what are the real takeaways here? What are the essential ingredients that separate a winning joint venture from one that just fizzles out? So, what's the ultimate lesson in all of this? It's that the success of a multi-million or even billion-dollar joint venture often comes down to something you can't really measure on a spreadsheet: the people. It absolutely requires mutual trust and clear, solid agreements. Because without those, the conflicts, which will definitely pop up, can be fatal to the whole partnership. And getting this formula right is just critical. Why? Because the stats show the failure rate for joint ventures can be pretty staggering. Some studies say it's as high as 60%. So this really is the winning formula to beat those odds. First, you have to build that solid foundation of mutual trust. Second, you put everything in writing with clear, detailed agreements. And third, you can't ignore your differences. You have to face them head on and manage them carefully through the entire partnership. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. When you look at the business world today, with all its crazy challenges and opportunities, what future giants do you think will be born from the next big joint venture? Keep an eye out. You might just spot one in the making. Thanks so much for tuning in.